Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best ZLL 4K HD camera drones.
Starting at number 5.
DJI Mavic 3 Pro. The Mavic 3 Pro is a powerful machine, capable of lifting a triple camera system based around a 24mm EFL main camera and two secondary cameras, at 70mm EFL and 166mm EFL, that serve to provide a hybrid zoom. If the approach hadn't already been adopted almost certainly by your phone, it might seem a bit confusing, and it is a little strange at first, but the excellent 20-megapixel main camera brings the pro features of adjustable ISO, exposure, and, crucially, aperture. The secondary cameras are less impressive, but they still represent a notable improvement over the original Mavic 3's dual camera system. The medium tele is f/2.8 and the tele f/3.4, so you'll get the best imagery from the Hasselblad main camera and ProRes video with the Cine option, but the other cameras don't give you the same camera system, unlike, say, the swappable Inspire 3. You can opt to switch between lenses, or have the computer create a long digital zoom, again, like a phone, all the way to 28x, though you'll see the jumps at 3x and 7x, again, like a phone.
Coming at number 4.
DJI Mini 3. DJI defined camera drones as we understand them today way back in 2016 with the first Mavic. It was so usable that drones clearly became a consumer-friendly product, and soon after the restrictions started to emerge around the world. Using a drone over 250G suddenly required registration, an online exam and a small fee in most countries, though by 2019 DJI's Mavic Mini had solved the weight issue. Because so few people love bureaucracy, and drone tech has progressed so well, it is no longer just a drone, but a whole category: ultralight. It is the obvious weight category for beginner drones, but there are also some surprisingly high-end options, like the Mini 4 Pro, and, in between, a sensible balance of capability and cost. Knowing that history is useful because it explains why, even though the Mini 3 Pro is now superseded, this drone has a 3 in its name. It is essentially a lower-cost version of that, with the key feature removal being the collision sensors. In other words, a drone which was at launch in late 2022 verging on miraculous, became a lot more more accessible. You get all the key goodies of the Mini 4 Pro, including the 1/1.3-inch rotating camera for vertical format, selfie mode, and even the ability to shoot raw images at up to 48 megapixels. Video is saved at 100 megabits per second, so looks excellent, though it does stop at 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second at 2.7K. The automated quick shots, the drone keeps the camera on you and performs a cool pre-planned swoop, are also very handy. Beginners can look like pro pilots and get dramatic video.
At number 3.
HoverAir X1. This might not be ideal for younger kids without a bit of parental supervision, and it's certainly not the cheapest toy, but it's not too pricey either compared to many on this list, and it does offer a very different take on drones that I found very compelling. It's one I've added to my collection, and it's one I find the whole family can enjoy. When I first tried it, this drone surprised me with its sensibly safe design, and by how the AI could simply follow me, taking off and landing on my own hand. After initial setup, I didn't even need my phone to do it. There is a combination of a speaker inside so voices reassure you that you've asked for the right thing, and simple buttons on the frame. Think of it as an angel on your shoulder which can be passed between family members and follow them running, cycling, or undertaking any activity. An unusual drone, but amazing. Choosing this drone does involve making a slight compromise when it comes to flight time and range. You can choose to fly it with your phone, Wi-Fi range, or just let the drone do the flying, but the resolution and flight time doesn't match even most ultralights. That said, it's not only cheaper and smarter, but the caged propellers are notably safer than other drones.
Number 2 of my list.
DJI Air 3. The DJI Air 3 has a lot to recommend it at price which, while certainly not pocket money, is less of a stretch than others on this list. Some can't look past the slightly smaller image sensor than its predecessor, the Air 2S, but the new image sensor is a modern stacked CMOS, and more importantly, there are two of them. one with a 24mm EFL, wide, lens and one with a 70mm EFL, what DJI call a medium telephoto, lens. Since both have equally good 48-megapixel sensors, both can produce 100 frames per second for K-Slow-Mo, or 200 frames per second at 1080p, and all the other promised features, making the drone much easier to use than others which mix and match the sensors and lenses. In other words, switching zoom lengths works here at a pure hardware level, and DJI haven't had to strain their software in the way that a lot of phones try to, and often don't quite succeed at. Not just phones either, the complaint can be leveled at the Air 3's bigger brother, the Mavic 3 Pro, and especially that drone's predecessor the Mavic 3, but that's a whole other story. The Air 3 is more like a slightly cut-down Mavic 3 Pro which, in being trimmed, has actually become a little bit easier to use. It nevertheless still gets all the cool features of its bigger, heavier cousin, like AI subject tracking and even waypoints, plus excellent battery life, not to mention weighing a bit less. Why spend more? If you want to do occasional survey work, and perhaps get some images, then I found the 4x zoom looked very impressive and, honestly, this drone seems to aggressively eat into the use case for the Mavic 3.
And number 1.
DJI Mini 4 Pro. This drone's predecessor, the DJI Mini 3 Pro, had a massive effect when it arrived in May 2022. It redefined what DJI was doing with the ultralight category, bringing some collision sensors and a 4K 60 frames per second camera which could physically rotate to vertical mode, a feature still not equaled by much bigger craft. Under 18 months later, the Mini 4 Pro finished the job, making the collision sensors omnidirectional, all-round, and adding 10-bit D-Log-M video and waypoint programmable flights while keeping under the magic weight. It can also do HDR at a full 60 frames per second rather than the 30 frames per second limit of the Air 3 Pro. The Mini 4 Pro also sports DJI's updated O4 radio system which offers up to 20 kilometers, over 12 miles, of theoretical range or, more importantly, top-notch reception in sensible operational distances. The updated DJI RC2, as seen with the DJI Air 3, is an option, which feels very pro in hand, giving the choice of a model with a screen to save the fairly minimal fuss of connecting a phone. In some markets, start chanting USA, USA. There is also a choice of batteries if you don't mind pushing the weight limit, meaning you can go from the already decent 30 minutes to over 40. Again, always take these with a pinch of salt, it depends on conditions and flying style. You should note, though, that the drone will know about the weight change and can alert authorities. The message of the Mini 4 Pro is that DJI will not let the weight restriction prevent creatives from achieving their goals. The inevitable downside is the pricing, which is quite a lot closer to the company's higher-end models than other ultralights. If you want to save, there is the less expensive DJI Mini 3, which lacks the collision sensors and some of the output options, but will capture similar video and stills for the average user.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.